19th of September 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on today's edition of your informative and educative program, Well in Print, with me, FRIDA EGBESON. On today's edition of the program, we are delighted to know that you're seated massive in your various areas of our location, waiting attentively to have us come with you with our bi-weekly news or breakfast. We want to say that we are very sorry for the late start. You know, machines are made by man. But of course, there are times that machines can, of course, disappoint man. But the important issue is we are here live and on Well in Print today. Want to say that much has happened in the course of the week, and Well in Print is here to give you updates, global updates as recounted by newspapers headlines. So if you want to have an insight, you want to know the in and out of what has been making news around the globe, go nowhere, for we shall be right back just after the transition. Welcome back, beautiful viewers. If you are just joining us, you are live on Pan-African Media TV, and the program on air is Well in Print. On today's edition of the program, I will be joined on set by Dr. NFOR, with whom we shall be analyzing the major news headlines for today. But before I come to introduce our honored guest for today, up next is our weekly newspaper review, taking us straight to the United Kingdom with Financial Times newspaper. Financial Times this morning is carrying as major caption, ladies and gentlemen, carrying as major caption, Navilda will pump in $5 billion into ailing Intel tech to make chips for data centers, making later AI-inspired shake-up with long-lasting rivals becoming friends. Away from Financial Times, we move over to the Morning Star, which also carries as caption this morning, Britain guilty of fueling Israel's massive atrocities wants amnesty. The paper is saying that Britain is found guilty for massing what is happening, atrocities that Israel is hammering on Hamas, and it's warning that they need to refrain from this act. If not, human rights activists will hold them responsible for that. From Morning Star, we move over to the United States of America this morning, with Chicago Tribune, which is carrying as headline, diseases will return. Fired CDC director issues a die warning to Senate. Hearing tells lawmakers that RFK Jr. rejected data on safety of vaccines. Away from that, the Washington Post also captions this morning, fires chief of center Delta's vaccine pressure. We have to know that she testifies Kennedy held her back on board with a childhood vaccination schedule. The paper is telling us this morning that the director just stayed on post for 29 days and was fired, but he took the Senate by surprise to denounce that she was compelled to give the information that she gave. Away from that, we go this morning to the Palm Beach Post, which says after signing pacts, Trump holds court. President Donald Trump of the United States of America has completed his 3-day visit to the United Kingdom with the signing of a major convention with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. This agreement, they say that it's on the domain of technology, and this is going to tighten ties between the two countries. The Guardian, on its part, headlines, Jimmy Kimmel live suspended indefinitely after host Charlie Kirk comments. The paper is telling us this morning that the live program of a TV host has been suspended indefinitely because he had to make comments on the mother of Charlie. Charlie that was shot dead last week in the United States of America. The Yorkshire Post, on its part this morning, captions the head says this morning, headlines, Putin let me down, says angry president. This is the president that is confirming that Vladimir Putin of Russia let him down. Maybe that is in their discussions that they had behind closed doors as presidents of various countries. But away from that, from one continent to another, we'll move over to the Nigeria as we reapproach the African continent with the Punch newspaper carrying as major caption this morning, headlines, emergency rule winners loses as Tinubu reinstates Fura president, justifies action as over 40 court cases pending. Questions government on good governance. From Nigeria, we cross over to neighboring Cameroon this morning, where we have more almost one story running through the newspapers on today's edition of the weekend outcomes. The Guardian Post this morning is carrying as caption, government disburses over 13 billion francs to clear CDC salary arrears. For a while now, we all should note that workers of the Cameroon Development Corporation has been living misery and from hand to mouth because of salary arrears, and it is just good news that government has decided to disburse this sum to be able to sort out their salary so their lives can go back to normal. Municipal update on its part headlines. Bias envoy John Gute puts Bamenda in vast construction mood. Like we all know that the Prime Minister and Head of Government was in Bamenda on Tuesday and Wednesday, where he inaugurated the Babaju-Bamenda road and, of course, launched the construction of other roads in the city. And from there, we move to The Voice. The Voice this morning is still on the story of the Prime Minister's visit to Bamenda. The Voice says pre-campaign outing amidst adversity. The Voice is giving it a direction that the Prime Minister's visit is some kind of a pre-campaign to the Northwest region to go and impress the people in that domain, in that area, of course, with the deeds of the government. While the media, in its own caption this morning, says, carries a caption, PM Commission's 35-kilometer stretch lays foundation to start for Bamenda urban crossing. So, like we all know, Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute has ended his mission to the northwest region of the country, where he has inaugurated roads and, of course, launched projects for others to start. We can only wish that these construction projects that have been launched are going to kickstart in less than no time. Up next is going to be our analysis, but we shall be right back just after the transition, so go nowhere. Welcome back, beautiful viewers. We have just rounded up with our newspaper's headline, and now we are going to dive into the analytical part of the program. I was saying that on today's edition of the program, we have Dr. AHMAD in the house, who is a botanist and a public health consultant, and above all, he is a former GC examiner. I'm so delighted to have him seated close to me this morning, because it's not an ordinary days that we have people who are moving encyclopedias. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam FRIDA. It's really a very good opportunity being in the World Print TV today. I think I've been following programs of this particular media for some time now, and I saw so many interesting programs, and I was delighted when I was invited to come and share some ideas with Cameroonians through this media.
Okay, I want to say thank you very much. We feel very honored to have you here today.
Thank you.
So, feel at home. This is home. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Doctor. So, Cameroon, we have just barely weeks to our presidential elections. But before we go talking about that, I want us to revisit some of the papers that you see we have reviewed this morning. We'll go to briefing. I hope you watched the visit of Donald Trump to briefing.
Yes, I actually watched the visit of Donald Trump to Britain. Britain and America has been like the father and the mother.
And from the same time, you saw that there's a revolt. People protested in UK when Donald Trump arrived. What do you have to say about that?
The influence of America in the Middle East has has really put America in a very negative psychology of most people who think about America today. Because of their influence in the Middle East, they are the ones fueling the conflict in the Middle East. All of us know that. And generally, America today, they still have a psychology that they are world power. There's evolution. Most countries have evolved, like China, like North Korea, like Russia. They are big countries that have evolved technological-wise, military-wise. And so those countries which used to be world power should not still put in their mind that they will still be the same world power today. Because the war today is not like what we did in Cameroon. You hide in the bush to fight your brother. Today is technological war. You can launch a war millions and millions of miles away from you and destroy lives or infrastructure. So many countries are well equipped technological wise and everything wise. And so everything, the whole Americans are not even happy about his influence on the Middle East issue. Yes, I think I have followed a lot of talks in the House of Senate in the U.S. Most of them are not so happy about it. So that's why we are just praying that America should, especially the administration of the United States, should start thinking that there is something, they are tarnishing the image of their own country. Because the whole country is against what they are doing. They are tarnishing the image. America is a country of good reputation. America is a country where everybody wants to go.
Of course, it's
yes.
a promised land.
In those days, we were flying to Europe, to Belgium, to Germany, to Syria, to Sweden, to Denmark, to Norway. But today, everybody is going to America because America is an opportune country.
Direction, yeah.
Yes, you can be there, you can do several jobs, you can hustle up to meet up. And as is commonly say, it's a country of nobody.
I shouldn't be made a hot seat.
It's no man's land.
Yeah.
So that's the theory. We don't know practically whether it is like that.
Yeah.
So that's why it captivates most of our Cameroon brothers. You see that 80% of them are living in the U.S. We are just praying that the administration of the U.S. should start thinking about redressing their foreign policies. They are not good.
All right, so I want us to look at the Morning Star this morning. The Morning Star is captioning this morning, Britain guilty of fueling Israel's mass atrocities. That's in Iran, and once Amnesty, they say a report highlights frames complicity, genocide. Now I want us to look at the Israel and Hamas, what is happening. When you see what is happening, must we use war?
Right.
Must weapons be involved in resolving situations?
Yeah. So when you look at Israel and the Hamas or the Palestinians, you realize that there are countries that will not be well equipped, as you are seeing today. All war, even in any aspect, even in the content of Africa, they are all being kind of sponsored and then equipped. Those sophisticated war equipments are supplied by foreign bodies. And you know, as I told you before, where American goes, Britain follow, and where Britain goes, America follow. It's the same like if you look globally these days, you realize that Russia is standing with China and North Korea, and then with Turkey. Those countries, automatically, when you are an enemy to America, you are a friend to these countries. And then automatically, too, when you are an enemy to Russia, you are a friend to America. So now it is becoming it's a global conflict. And what is happening in the Middle East, it's a long-term story. It is something that is a history that is very long and has been resolved several times. I think our famous Nelson Mandela has intervened in this issue time and again, resolved this conflict sometime, and peace went on for some certain time before resolving. If you realize that if foreign policies are withdrawn from what is going on in the Middle East, this war will not last a month. Everything will come to a stop. Now, as America is building and other countries to support Israel, other countries too are building to support the Palestine, maybe not directly, maybe using other countries like Iran, you know, to attack on Israel. And then now, Israel too, it could have been a country that should be very careful because they will realize that they are living, they are like isolated in a certain environment where all surrounding them is their enemies. And they are enemies because they bring in enemies to the environment. That's why they become enemies of the environment as well.
So talking about Israel, you see Vladimir Putin, some people have said that Vladimir Putin is doing too much. Like, he does not know when they say it's okay. It's like when you start, he does not have an end. Is that how a leader should be?
Russia or Israel?
Sorry, Israel.
Israel, that's... you are talking about
Benjamin Netanyahu. Sorry.
Yes, you know, even I think I want to believe very clearly here that even the Israelis, they don't like that Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, because nobody, you know, and his courage is coming from the U.S. If he was left alone, he would not have that courage. He's being pushed. So his courage is getting courage because he knows he has one of the world giants behind him, and that can be supported. But he fails to understand that the term of presidency in America has a limit. The next president coming may not support that, and he will go into serious fiasco.
He will start on his own.
That is it. So he doesn't hear. When you see a time when people talk bully, I just want to tell you a good example. Where you see the checkpoints in a route, the police and the gendarme, where you see a civilian who knows his right, or a civilian who has documents, and maybe the police, the uniform people are trying to go, and he stands on his point to stop correction or refuse to give something to a uniform person. Not that he has a backing. That's
what he's counting on.
He has a backing. You detain me, he removes his phone, he makes a call, you may lose that post. So that is it. That's why Benjamin Netanyahu is strong, he's well firmed in the ground. he has courage, he has the determination because he has somebody pushing him behind.
Somebody pushing him.
Which is not any kind of person.
That is it. So I want us to leave the American continent and dive straight to Africa. This morning we are in Cameroon. We want to face the realities on the ground. Schools just resumed on the 8th of September amidst uncertainty in the minds of many Cameroonians, in the minds of parents, in the minds of guardians, as to know October is close, we don't know what may happen, we don't know this, I'll not enroll my child will stay home till after elections and stuff like that. Schools reopened anyway. So you as an educationist, first to start with, what do you have to say in relation to the fears that people have been nurturing? Because there are schools where categorically people have not enrolled. Some bring their children, they say they will come and register when after elections have passed. Okay,
really, actually, the timing of the elections almost at the neck of school reopening has an impact. It has an influence. Some parents are still cautioned. They don't know the unforeseen. There's an unforeseen after election. We don't know whether there will be peace or there will be no peace. So some parents, especially parents whose children go to schools far away from them, they are still skeptical to push their children to those distances to see what October 12 would give like. But sincerely, talking about the politics in Cameroon, I think it's very exceptional in the whole world. The way we do politics in Cameroon is not done like that anywhere. And I think that this idea of multipartyism is not making any use. Yes, you see America with 2 Republican Democrats. And they are
either you are with A or you are with B.
You are with B. This multipartyism is not making any use. And then the regime in place is using this as a divide and rule policy. When you are many of you, you are weakened. And when you are weakened, you are easily taken over. And that's why you see making coalition with the political parties has been a problem, because there is lack of trust within the political parties. Some will refuse to coalesce with others, and you will not question them, because after evaluation they realize that time memorial, some of these people have betrayed the fight, the battle we are struggling to overtake the regime. So you see that it's a whole fiasco. We have merely less than 3 weeks to go for elections. Now
the opposition is still scattered like popcorn in a pot.
It's difficult to remove a single candidate. And it's a phenomenon in Cameroon. When a single candidate will be nominated, people, they will always be contaminated, they will condemn from one side of it. There will be a party which will not like that candidate. And we have a kind of, I don't know, a kind of attitude in Cameroon where we want to know who comes from where and who comes from where and what is his influence. I think that what I can advise, already it is late. If Cameroon goes back to dual parties, 2 parties, we can succeed.
Maybe after this mandate.
After this mandate, this multipartism, it is very bad in the context where an election is being organized and people are already procrastinating the results. Thinking about what will happen. 90% of Cameroonians already know the result.
They say they know.
So you see, it makes the elections, it makes this kind of election, this kind of voting, this civil right, not really interesting.
To a certain point.
And then that's why you see most Cameroonians, they have been pleading to go to register for voting. Many will say, why am I registering for what? An obvious result. You see, this is where we have a problem.
It brings in voter apathy.
Yes, and I think that if we had, opposition had only one party, everybody who is opposing the regime had one party, and then this party fights against the regime, they can win. And if it's a matter of taking things to court or prolonging with laws and anything when there is fraud, it is possible to win. But when now they are divided, you realize that for now, we cannot know who is an opposition till election comes. Because we have witnessed in the context of Cameroon, at the eve of an election, somebody gives his own candidacy to the ruling regime. Maybe because of some negotiation behind the canvas. So this is where we have the problem we have.
You know, you're talking about multipartism in Cameroon. Many people have said that this multipartism has become some kind of a joke. For instance, take the caution, we will say 30 million francs. You deposit your candidacy, your documents alongside 30 million francs. After that, if you are selected as to contest, you are giving 70 million. Means your 30,000 francs, 140 million.
It's a business.
That's why some people, when even they collect, even if they do not go for campaigns, it's an investment.
It's like an investment.
Reason why it becomes more of a joke than.
And what was astonished about the people who were submitting documents for candidacy was their age. We are trying to fight up age. All countries are emerging to go to young age. We still saw old people with files bringing. And some of these candidates, when you evaluate their put up, what they put on their dresses is not worth up to 100,000, but they are depositing 30 million.
Of Cameroon.
And then now, in that way, automatically you and I, if you are not represented in the 10 regions of Cameroon, people do not know you, don't have offices.
That
you are
is it.
submitting
Your office is in your
you are
suitcase.
named for a candidate for Cameroon. The person in Mora, does he knows you? The person in the far northwest province, in
Akwaya.
in Misajo, in Akwaya, the person in Akwaya knows you. That is a problem.
Like
Now you realize that it becomes a business. You deposit, you invest, you have 3 times or 2.5 times what you have invested. So it was not serious politics.
Not serious politics. So we pray that. All right, now we go looking headlines in Cameroon. The Guardian Post this morning. Guardian Post is telling us that the government has disbursed 15 billion francs CFA to clear CDC salary areas. You know, 15 billion francs is much money. These people have stayed for long without salaries. Do you think this is going to come as a sigh of relief?
This is a good move, but the question behind is why at this time of the year? Now, like with the Prime Minister visiting Bamenda, all these good things, why are they coming but now? Why were they not before? This is where we have problems. The CDC workers, which I know many, have gone under serious suffering, poverty, serious poverty, because you know that's why sometimes it's not good to put, as they say in English, don't put your eggs in one basket. Now all of them depend on, they were working on salarized jobs, and now for many years they have not been paid. The first thing is that we appreciate the move. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good move. It's a very good move. But the advice we are giving to the government in place is that they should not be bringing motivation at the neck of elections. This thing should be done far behind, because person who will reason psychologically will think is another form of motivating people to change people's mind. Yes, it should not be coming. The Prime Minister visited Bamenda. Bamenda was coming at the 3rd largest city in Cameroon. But if you go to Bamenda, at the heart of Bamenda, all the roads are depreciated. You will not imagine. But when you see good houses, but no access to these houses, this is something that is coming. We cannot say it is timely. It was supposed to long have been done. Now, any average Cameroonian would think all this move is to push people towards the polls and then make people think that there are still some hopes after 12th October if the same regime remains in place. I think this is what many Cameroonians would think about. All right. That's all. We appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate the move. You are from the Northwest. We know when they talk of Bamenda before and Bamenda now, we can do nothing but welcome the initiative. They will check the Voice newspaper this morning is looking still at the Prime Minister's visit. I tie up with what you said this morning. It's like they say pre-campaigns. The Voice is saying that pre-campaigns outing amidst adversity.
That is it. That is exactly what is in the mind of it. It's a pre-campaign. It's they cannot be inaugurating or launching projects at the heart of an election era. This automatically shows that they are making people to have hopes. It's just like, let me say, I have never given you something, and then tomorrow it happens that in your family I have had a girl there, your daughter, who will get married to my son. I just surprise you with a gift. Now it makes you think that if your daughter goes here, at least the family will be relieved. Now, doing these things, these are things obviously could have been done. During at this time of the day, the interpretation in most people's mind will be, it's a pre-election campaign.
All right.
Which we still appreciate. We need roads.
Which we still appreciate. We need roads because if you check roads, the roads network in the entire country, it's really nothing to write about.
Development is based on road network.
That is it. Yes. And all right, I want us to look at, now we've been talking 12th October, and like you said, people presume that they know results beforehand, and some people say what is going to change. We still talk, every opposition leader wants to be president. They do not want to come to a table and look at the same direction. If they should unseat the regime, they are struggling to unseat if they say they are opposition. Do you think a voter apathy, the voter apathy in Cameroon, something is going to change?
Something is going to change, and but equally it's very difficult to evaluate the voters apathy in Cameroon. Because for many years now, you don't need to do campaigns for people to register for elections. It's a civil right. If it comes a time you need to give information and people register, if it comes a time where you have to bribe people to register, you have to go to door to campaign, it's a civil right. You know there is a problem. It means that the psychology of the mentality of the people is changing. They are not seeing the use or the value of that. But that notwithstanding, God times is the best. We don't know when change can come. Yes. I think those who have registered, we cannot know when change can come. They should still think positively. We don't know when change can come.
Yeah, we cannot base our thoughts on negativity breaks down.
Yes.
Negativity breaks down, so we can only...
We need to be optimistic, not pessimistic.
So when you look at the female population, do you think the female population, if the opposition could queue like behind a lady this time, we have just one lady, maybe they could come down from their high horses, the men, men always like to be in front. Okay, we are the men, why shouldn't this? And of course, we see the lady also among the people who maybe they say Sachiroma has been brought up as the person they have chosen to represent the opposition. Though majority of the opposition parties are not for it. Do you think Sachiroma could make a good choice for the opposition?
Yeah, that's, as I told you from the beginning, there is an internal conflict between the candidates of the opposition party. They don't have trust in them. They don't have trust in them. Issa Cheruma and the other people, they are coming from the regime. And they have been coming from the regime. It's not the first time. And then going back to the regime. Now, nobody knows. What they have said now is more than what they must have said before. But there is still some skepticity in some people, whether they will do it. Then coming to the lady being a presidential candidate, I think we have seen in Africa, like in Liberia, women rule the countries, is good. But the problem is the portfolio of the person, the lady in question. Is she known in Cameroon? We start preparing to be candidates years before proposing ourselves for a candidate. You should make your impact known in the 10 regions. Maybe like the conflict going in the Northwest and Southwest, you have visited refugee camps, you have done like some of them. I'm not a politician, I think Ossie Josh has done that. You go to those war camps, you visit people, let people know you. People should not know you only in the times of campaign, and you should be represented everywhere. Which means that in the 10 regions from Cameroon, you should have offices or representatives, and you have meetings. Let you be known before candidate comes. You cannot just match up like a mushroom on an eve of an election. You want to be a candidate, and then you are known only in your own jurisdiction. It becomes a big problem. And a small jurisdiction that even all the 100% people vote you there, you will not stay with. Yeah. So I'm thinking that the opposition in Cameroon is really a mess because making a coalition, they have had a lot of difficulties. Now it's time for campaign. Where will they campaign? Who will campaign behind who? That is the problem we are facing now, and we are at the neck of the elections.
The eve of elections.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk. Maybe I touch a bit of what you do, and we'll see how the health. You are a consultant with the Ministry of Health. I've seen you do a lot of things. Going to the ground. I saw you in talks with. Was it the Baptist?
Yes, I had workshops with the Baptist churches, the Catholic Mission, the Presbyterian churches, the Muslim communities. I work with all the communities.
How important is health, human health, in an upcoming situation like a presidential election? How important, of what important is good health?
I think that most of these presidential candidates must it was mandated that they even screen their health status. Health is the priority. Everything comes to a still when there is no health.
That's true.
And we know that people who have crossed 50, 60 years, talk less of 70, have many health challenges, much health challenges. And so there are obvious health complications that will come with age. And candidates who are standing with this can face a lot of challenges. Some of our ministers and some of these people we see, sometimes they disappear. We don't see them because they are suffering from health challenges. Meanwhile, they are supposed to be on 24/7.
Yeah.
So I think that health is a priority, not only to the candidate. They say health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
When you are healthy, you can carry out. I am carrying out a campaign on preventive health. Those complications which is ravaging the population of sub-Saharan Africa, like cancer, like stroke, like diabetes, like high blood. These complications are alarming in our context. I am not talking about medication, but I'm talking about risk factors.
Okay.
I'm talking about preventive measures. What people should not eat today. So that because most of them, 90% of these complications are coming from a nutritional therapist diet. So if we this our grandparents never had this before.
Never.
They will start knowing what
My
has
father
come
was
new.
never sick until
Voilà.
the day he went to the hospital. He died. He did not come back.
Father, there are parents who
Never.
have grown up to 100 years. They have never taken a single tablet. They have not been on any therapy. These things are coming from where? It's our mode of life.
Yeah.
Our lifestyle has changed. So my mission with the team I work is to educate people on risk factor and preventive measures.
Okay.
Let mama of 40 years know what you should not take at menopausal age. Where papa of 45 years know what you cannot take at andropausal age. This is our target. While we still saying that, today we are saying that some of our candidates, we are not seeing them. And when you see them even move, you see that normally campaigns are things that somebody should stand in an open car, like they do in the US, be vibrant, gather in a crowd, like on a sport, to address people, they see you energetic, you jump from the stage, maybe even with a sportway as they do in the US. Then you organize, but we are not seeing them. We don't know whether they are supported by sticks or their health status to us. So we are just saying that any single Cameroonian to take health, I think we will have subsequent time that we will orientate people about food, diet and health. If you eat well, most of these things I've mentioned here will not come. They are coming today because we are more of an artificial generation. We go to things that our body does not need. We'll have a better time next time to talk about that.
It's really good to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Preventive measures.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about elections are coming. It's true that at least before election we'll have the life, how they say, living cost has skyrocketed to something else. And some people like somebody this morning was saying that I heard that in January things will be worse than now. What do you think for the average Cameroonian, to cook a pot of tomato sauce? Just the sauce itself. No, I'm just saying that just the sauce itself, you need at least 6,000 for a pot to be decent before talking of the complement.
Yeah.
Now with this difficult cost of living, because times are pretty hard.
Actually.
Do you think the way people go through, the way things, if for instance the opposition stands a chance, if they can, because mostly when opposition comes to campaigns, like they are coming to, they just talk here everywhere, maybe in Western world where people's minds are already open, they know that campaigns, you come and present your project, what you have to do and what you have to do. But there are also people who come with their brown envelopes and bags of rice and salt and oil and giving to people. Don't you think that is going to tilt the minds of most of the hungry Cameroonians?
We are in this mess today because of that same factor that you just mentioned, where at the era when it's election period, that's where you receive charity from people. Yeah. This is what has put us in this mess. And the worst part, if you look in well-structured countries, I don't want to say democratic countries because my analysis in politics, democracy exists just 5%. Anyway, even in the US. Now, what I have seen particularly in a most structured country, during campaigns, there are no off-license open. No beer, no whiskey, no drinking. Everybody is his or her mind. And then you can analyze the project of the candidate, his or her proposal, and you make a choice. Now, but what they are doing here now is they first rob you up, corrupt you up. Yeah, rice, we have been eating rice. Why do you want to take 2 bags of rice for the next 7 years? Now, they corrupt you up. The worst part is alcohol. I want to believe this, that maybe the particular brand of whiskey and alcohol that is produced during this period has a lot of ethyl alcohol, which is a chemical composition that cramps the memory of the brain. So that when people drink, that ethyl alcohol is what is used to chemicalize water to alcohol. Now maybe I am believing that this era, maybe it is too much, because when people drink, immediately they forget about everything. Now a leader has been corrupted with money. Now the followers have to follow. This is where we are just saying that Cameroon should stand up. If you look at neighboring Nigeria, neighboring Nigeria, they do that, but not to the standard that we do in Cameroon. You may see bags of rice and see things like that, but things like drinks hardly exist. You know, the worst part is drink. Something
it's opium of the masses.
Voila, something that would That is a truth. That is the truth. Because opposition candidates at the elections will go, they have a pool where they will go and vote. Now, what is going on in other polls? Nobody knows. Some parties are represented, some are not represented. This makes no sense. And standing as a presidential candidate where you are not in 2 regions of Cameroon, the 8 regions do not know you. It makes no sense. Why do you think I should vote for somebody that I have just seen him for the first time during the election?
Or you just saw the card?
I just saw the card. I've never even met him. He has not even proposed me his own project, what he has for the Cameroonians. And then I vote for him. This is where we have a problem. But now it comes to the point where I and you were talking that if the opposition, they were one. We had only 2 parties. It could be easy. The 2 parties will be represented. Whether there are 3,000 polling stations, they will be there. But now with this kind of scattered candidacy, it's difficult. Some will not be represented in any poll. So anything that happens there is their problem.
Talking about bringing charity, I want to look at the direction of youth unemployment in Cameroon. You know, the population of the youth, let's say if the youth could reason objectively, stand for what they believe in and what they want, they register to have their voters card, and on the day they go to the polls to vote and they decide that this is who we are voting, the person could win. Considering the fact that they have the majority of the population is made up of youths. Now, with the unemployment and poverty state of the youth, don't you think that's what also pushes them to collect everything that comes from these people who will be in the field in a couple of days for the campaigns?
You know, the architect of unemployment in the country, I would say it will start from poor orientation.
Yeah.
Yes, most I've evaluated, I've seen so many youths riding bikes and they are degree holders. Poor orientation. And when you go to this poor orientation, you blame the government. They are brandishing schools and brandishing certificates. They are giving certificates that they cannot employ people with that same certificates. Believe me, Cameroon has close to 3,000 higher institutions.
That's where I was coming.
Parents spend millions and in these schools for 3 years for their children to have HND or whatsoever in marketing and things. These same schools cannot recruit those who have graduated. And the certificates signed even by the Ministry of Higher Education and signed by other people are not recognized again by, they recognize, but they will not employ. So what if you look some 40 years behind, China was at the level of Cameroon or we're better than them. They took a strategy, which is a documentary and plan to do. China has kind of bring general education to 20% and then bring technological education to 80%. So hand-on activity. I need to learn something for 2-3 years and start doing that thing. Those who are creating schools and talk about business management and accounting and banking and finance. Why do they not open banks?
How many banks do they have?
They should open banks because they have been collecting money for years. They should open banks and recruit the graduates. Now in America, they are coming, and some countries, they are coming with a structure where if you have a professional school where you train, you must have
if you are training nurses, you should have a hospital.
You have a company that have to absorb the graduates. Now you are training, every year we train 10,000 people in business management. Which business do Cameroon have? And when you talk banking, how many banks do we have? Many banks here are foreign banks. The UBA, the EcoBank, they are all foreign banks. Apart from our small BSEC and the other ones. The rest are all banks. So we are thinking here that the youth of today who have already graduated from the university, I will advise them that they should forget about those certificates. I have been there.
So what can be done to change the narrative?
They should just go and do a training. They can do a training. That means a hand-on activity. I want just to give one good example. If somebody go to a good school, agricultural school, and do backyard fishing, how to keep fish, and you do that for 3 months, and then you look for subvention, and you keep about 2,000 fish, I'm telling you that in less than 1 year, you are a millionaire. Why only looking for office work? Somebody like me, I first hate
civil
office work.
Servant mentality.
Civil servant. Yeah, many countries who are developed, people don't want civil servant. People are instead running from salarized job. Cameroonians are going into salarized job. Dangote is not a salarized worker. The richest people in this world, they are not salarized workers. They are business people. When you look at the Igbo people who are in Cameroon, they are making money. The whole Mbopi is Igbo. The whole Cameroon is Igbo. They are making money. Go and ask their educational background. Very less. So I'm advising nobody should be relying on certificates. I have so many colleagues, so many family friends who have had degrees here. They are abroad. And they tell me that if you want to punish me, ask me to look for my first degree in Buya. I don't know where it is found. Because it was found strange there.
Yeah.
You finish from an HND school, nursing training school here. I have so many diplomas there. You go, you are assistant nursing technician, laboratory technician. When those people over there, they look at it, there's no practical thing in it. They abandon it. Now it's only self-registered nurses that is a bit recommended. So I am advising this employment issue, we should take the bull by the horn. Everybody, if you have 4 children in the family, please send 3 children for technical education and hand-on activity. Don't we, once bitten, twice shy. We have been there. We know what is there. Reading biology, chemistry, geography, economics, and those single subjects in the university is just bringing to the family cross-generational poverty.
And this brings me to something. You know, when you go back to secondary school, what is happening? Like, I have a niece who is in Form 3. I had 9 exercise books. Yesterday evening she was like, Mom, I need books. I said, which exercise books? I said, how many exercise books are you supposed to have? She said 15. What are the subjects? Logic, commerce, history. What can the educational system do? What should they do to ensure that from the base, if not from primary, at least from secondary school, children should be able to do something that is reasonable?
Madam FRIDA, our educational system is a fiasco. You see all these books. Primary school children carry more books than secondary school children. Believe me, there are so many subjects in the secondary school and even the primary school which practically is of no value in this modern world. I want to give you a good simple example. Why should we study world history? Why is world history? We could study it to know, but we should not study it to write in the exam. Why should I be studying the rise and fall of Adolf Hitler? How will you fix this Northwest route that has got bad? Now, this is where they have brought a lot of junk of subjects which are valueless in the context of development and introduced in the schools, and children are doing it. We cannot change the system because we are not in the system, because for you to change the system, you have to be there. But we are looking forward that we'll keep educating the masses. Maybe some people of the system can start thinking that we should go mostly on practical education. The children in the agri school have farms. Yes. How can you be teaching me agriculture as a lecturer and you have never been a farmer? I need to meet you in the farm with rainbow and we'll work on crop breeding in the farm, not in the classroom with a handout. I need to meet you in the farm. Now when you work in the classroom, like I studied in the university, I did botany, I did alternative therapy. And when I presented in a seminar about diabetes and high blood, somebody just came out of the seminar and saw me and said, look, I have diabetes, I have high blood. I need the medication urgently. I said, sir, your face look familiar. You seem to be a former lecturer. You lectured me in the university. Say yes. I say university. I say yes, University of China. I said, but what I am talking here is what you taught me. Then he asked me that, did I show you the plant? I gave you a book, you bought a book and wrote and you validated as they call it your course. Did I show you the plant? Did I show the plant too? I took you to any farm. My mouth kept shut. Who is fooling who? And that's true. That is where there's a problem. I think I am planning to have a documentary that can go viral on what to do. I'm shaping a program, series, subject to select in lower 6. What do you take in lower 6? The product in the future. And what you do in the university, the product in the future. Cameroonians should not all be teachers. I've been a teacher. I taught for 10 years. I'm at GC for 10 years. I taught in Longla Comprehensive High School, Mangon. Wow. I was a part-time teacher in Progressive Comprehensive High School, Mangon. I have given lectures in Somerset Bilingual High School, Moliko. But all this, when all of us are teachers, who works in the soup industry?
That is it. I'm
a chemist. I'm a biologist. Who work in the farm? So, Madam FRIDA, I think we'll have a good time to do this, and then so that we'll make it viral. We know this other generation where they is already gone. Yes. We are trying to prepare those who are coming from behind, whether by God's grace we can be China some years to come.
Let us struggle to see how we can salvage the situation, because it needs to be salvaged. Exactly. So, like we say, we'll be dangling from 1 to 2. Somebody somewhere, a politician again. We are in the month of politics in Cameroon. Exactly. He is a pastor, and of course, I don't know if he's a prophet, he's a pastor, and of course he's a politician who had intention to apply as candidate, but later he changed his mind. Prophet Yogi, that's what they call him.
Okay.
Yes, he said that he had a revelation that the transition in Cameroon from the second to the third president cannot be done through elections. So no matter what they do, elections cannot do that transition. That the prophecy of Umnube is what is going to obtain. What did Umnube say? That is going to be transmitted, just like former President Aijo transferred power to President Biya. Yes. That is how President Biya is going to do it. No matter what will happen, and no matter if somebody is still not going to be possible until that is done. Do you ever imagine that being possible in the Cameroon we live in?
You know, Madam FRIDA, it could have been possible, but it cannot be possible. Because who will take the power? There are more than 40 hands facing the presidency for the power. In the days of the Ahijo, the Cameroonians had a trust within them. And he had a free mind that since we live in the state of trust, if I give to my brother that I've worked for long, I've entrusted him, it will continue. He will also maybe, not through election, because that time there was no election, will also entrust somebody. But we are living now in a Cameroon where there is a lot of self-centered ideas. So if the president was to hand power to somebody, we will hand to who? Because there are so many hands waiting. But in the days of Ahijo, it was only one obvious person, the prime minister. Yes, and he gave. Now, so in this, what the pastor is telling you,
two children.
What the pastor is telling you about in his revelation, that it can be done. It can be done, but it can bring serious confusion. Because when I say there are many waiting, it means that if it goes to another hand, there will be kind of conflict between those who are expecting. That is where we are expecting now. When there was handed power, nobody contested. We were all happy. Because nobody went to Ahijo to tell Ahijo to give him power. But Ahijo evaluated him as a good brother, as a good leader, and gave him the power. So he can also evaluate somebody and give the power. But the problem is the person. So the context, this thing will not work in Cameroon. Cameroonians needs a lot of prayers. Both Christians and Muslims, they need a lot of prayer, because through election, we are not seeing it work. Through giving, we are not seeing it work. We don't want the third option through uprising. And it is difficult for Cameroonians to have uprising. It's difficult for uprising to happen in Cameroon, because we have a diversified minds. They have already divided Cameroonians, so that if A talks, B say, but who is A?
Where are you from?
And then C will say, but A and B, where are they coming from? So with this kind of nurture,
we are too diverse.
Nothing cannot work. And at that time that they start pulling you behind the house, locking your mouth, they cannot be uprising. So if we put things in prayer, we don't know. It's in a jamais trop tard. It's never too late. Anything can happen for the betterness of the Cameroonians.
And I was watching the press review before I came to work this morning. I saw it in the Integration newspaper, where somewhere in one caption, like at the foot of the paper, they saying, Brenda, they are saying people should not vote for the father.
I have seen that thing on social media.
I was thinking,
FRIDA.
first when I said that,
I have
social
seen,
media,
I've heard her spoke on the social media, saying that she has been threatened many times by people from the presidency and things like that, and that if she was to vote, and that she would not vote. But now, we are living in an era of artificial intelligence. It makes it very complicated. Because, Madam FRIDA, you could hear my lips vibrating the same way, me talking something, but meanwhile, I'm not the one. So now, what we want is that she is the daughter of the president. If she really wants to do it, she's in Swiss. We want her to come to CRTV. Yes, that's a state media, and sit there and say, "I'm no more with my father's regime." They will listen to her. But seeing things on social media, I don't conclude.
But it's not everything on social media. Yes. When I saw it this
morning, can be far from her opinion.
The newspaper, I was
as well as it can be her opinion, it can be far from her opinion.
Can this be real? All right. We'll talk about alcohol, the opium of the masses.
Yes.
Prices are getting high. People are still drinking. Others are saying that maybe
increase in prices of beer in Cameroon has never been a problem.
By next week, prices will be down. Do you think?
Obviously, I think that the prices will be going down, because at this period of this time, this particular very sensitive period, they would like people to take a bit of opium. And then in this way, I think prices can drop. If prices will not drop, there will be other sources to add to what people consume. Thank God some people like us, we don't know the color of alcohol. So you can never change our minds. Now, Cameroonians who are very sincere should be very careful about bribe. Yes. But it is difficult also, because if there are three of us that we have stood ground that will not take bribe, one person will backslide. And when he backslides, it becomes a failure. Yes, it becomes a failure. So we will just pray that whether it's which regime that is coming, if one day we have a dream to have an election in Cameroon where the presidential candidates are on a convoy, they are on an open car, they make campaign in the 10 regions 1 month ahead of time, and then no bar is open, no off license, no nightclub, no bags of rice, and then they propose their own agenda. of what they want Cameroon to be in the future, and people think this is where we'll be succeeding.
So
far as we're still seeing crates of beer moving from one corridor to another with bags of rice, we are still in a mess.
A friend in the United Kingdom was telling me that in Cameroon, when they say elections are free and fair, we use transparent buckets, transparent containers.
And those containers, it does not stand for transparency.
Free and fair transparency.
That one is what they are doing there is logic to people who are weak mind. Because when they said transparent election, and then somebody who has a weak mind sees a transparent box, we think that the act is also transparent. It is the collecting box that is transparent, not the minds. Yeah. And what is going there that is transparent. And the elections will be well known at the day of reading of the results. Yeah. Yes, that's the turning point where you in a polling center have seen something and you hear a different thing. This is where it is coming. The thing is that we don't want transparency in a context, because there is a way now to do election digital. Where you will not change figures.
The figures are changing, people are
we cannot go there.
Along.
We cannot go there. We cannot go there, because it is there that we cannot know the reality.
Free and fair.
Yes, I think many people have proposed that to ELECAM, they have proposed to the Cameroon election to do digital elections. They will do something called digital, but it will not really be digital, which means if I drop my vote here, that vote cannot. When we are marking the GC, if you feed marks in the computer, let's say I feed 49, which is not a pass, and the child is supposed to have 50. And then when they are revealing the script to see the names of the candidate, they see somebody discovered that 49 is my daughter or is my sister. I want to add one so that it makes 50. It will not go. The computer refuses.
Automatic.
That's how elections will be. You cannot change.
So, what actually could be a problem? Is it because we lack the means to do digital elections, or it is because we really do not want to
we lack the will.
That are changing?
We lack the will. And then we are trying to avoid embarrassment. You know, we are giving a different image to the other countries. And then in the real context, we are not what we say. So if digital election comes, we'll see the real Cameroon. Yeah. No matter how somebody even dreams, don't take those bribes. You may still take a decision on the polling to do something. But now, this one can never happen in the context of, as I told you, if we had only two candidates, this can be, one candidate can impose and even go higher heights, and it will work. So Cameroon is the only country that I'm seeing that the influence of United Nations, the influence of World Health, Commonwealth, and other international NGOs is not really keep making impact.
Yes.
If you really, it's not making impact.
And
then why it's not making impact? Because the people themselves, they don't know 70% of what's going on in Cameroon. They work on paperwork.
Yeah,
immediately they learn, they present scripts, they present them what is going on, and they see. They say if you look Cameroon on documentaries, Cameroon is one of the highest developed countries in Africa. If you look at the projects of Cameroon on papers, if you look at this Douala, what it was supposed to be on papers, this will be another mini New York or Washington. But now these people come and see on the decks and go back. But in the field, you need to go in the field. You need to enter the suburb before you see the real Cameroonian. So we are praying that God should bring us digital system with time. So people who accept it.
What's actually the problem of Cameroonians? Is it attitude we should be changing, or mentality? Which of the two? Which one?
Both. Attitudes and mentality. You know, in any society where you want to succeed, you have to do divide and rule policy. Now, like in your family, if you have a very strong, united family, if somebody wants to puncture that family, you should divide the family first. Yeah. It brings misunderstanding between brother and sister, father and mother. Children and their parents. In that way, you can access. So the mentality in Cameroon is that we believe that there are some people coming from some particular areas that can never rule the country. Do you see the ideology now? No matter how intelligent, no matter how brilliant the ideas is, some Cameroonians are just taking that they cannot do anything. And then another mentality we also have as Cameroonians is that we always like to support people which we think will help us. This is a bad mentality. We are looking about the whole nation as a whole, not me in particular. Not me in particular. If they say they have made a railway flight from Bamenda to Mora, it's for the good of all Cameroonians.
Normally.
Yes. If they say they have developed the Limbe seaport, it's for the good of all Cameroonians, whether which language or what is for everybody. So, but Cameroonians have that attitude of thinking that they should support the person they know they will benefit from something. This is what is killing us. So if 4 people are standing, he's looking for who will help me.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the candidates too. The candidates, so it goes, sometimes you will not blame them because there's a little bit of segregation and discrimination where people think only about their jurisdiction, they think about their area of development. If you move around Cameroon, development is in patches. But you'll be astonished that in some areas with very strong leaders in the regime has the worst roots in the country. So those ones are they are exceptional cases.
Exceptional cases. You know, earlier this week we had these viral videos of is it the Secretary General at the National Assembly, Honorable Mbairobe Abdullahi, talking about the fact that they should stop blaming President Paul Biya for underdevelopment of where we come from, because he appoints people to take care of the development of their areas first. According to him, you should develop first where you come from. The interest of your community should be first before the interest of the nation. Is that the way to go about it?
No, what he's saying. No, the way he's saying cannot hold tight. We are not. President Paul Biya cannot develop Cameroon, but the President Paul Biya paid can develop Cameroon. It's not President Paul Biya in physically.
Yeah.
Now, what is killing us is execution of projects in Cameroon.
Execution of projects.
We have been hearing the yearly annual projects, billions upon billions, and we know that the secret in development in the country is the road network. Those monies are disbursed. Where are we going on? So our cry is that there is no follow-up. If you give me a project to tie a road or to construct an infrastructure, and you don't come there to control or see the quality of what I'm doing, I take the advantage to embezzle, because I know they will not come. And so the problem is not blaming the president. We are blaming the president not as an individual, but not using his pain to sign or create a team that will go for follow-up. When they give you a project, they follow up. At the end of the year, there should be evaluation. This was dedicated. There are schools that have been running on papers. They give school on paper, it's constructed. Teachers are teaching there. There's a principal, but there's no structure there because there's no follow up. So that is what he's saying is what everybody in the regime will say. It's normal, yes, but the problem is not the president Pobia. Where are the people around him? At his age, should he go down and be a supervising project? We are saying that he should come to his mind, create people that will supervise.
See, I watched a video this morning. George Owane's village just got electricity.
Hey, George Owane, the famous journalist.
Yes, the famous journalist. This morning.
Getting electricity by now. I think should be Bakosi.
Yes, Bakosi. One village, I've forgotten the name.
Yes, Bakosi. I've been. That's one of the divisions in the southwest with heavy food. I've been in Gusi, I've been in Nyasoso, I've been in Bangem. Those areas, Tombe, they produce heavy cash crop, but the road network is a hill. I have been there. I have seen the hair. If they are getting electricity now, there is a big problem.
So what's wrong with Cameroonians? Is it that they must follow us with a whip to be able to do something right? Most people always come to, okay, have you done this, have you done this? Or is it that we've sold our consciences to the devil, that when you are given a project to execute a project, you do not think about the interests of the people, you do not think of the fact that you have a legacy to leave, because if you execute one project where another project will come. Have we sold our consciences? Madam
FRIDA, the answer is very simple. If you give me a loan to open a school from a bank, the bank must come and supervise how I'm doing to refund the loan. Isn't it? You must supervise. When once you give finances somewhere and the person receiving the finances know that there's no supervision, he start bribing people who are nearby, who can easily put an eye. So the problem here is lack of follow-up and supervision. People know that if I take 2 billion for a project and I use 500 million in bribe, I can eat 1 billion and execute a project of 500 million. And nobody cares. You see, it's a country of nobody cares. If they establish a supervision board now, they are there, but they are not well organized. If they really, you know that this project, they give you that you'll be supervised within this period, you'll be supervised within this period, you'll be supervised within this period. Within this length of period, the project should be completed. Otherwise, you're going to face this, you're going to face this. People will walk. People will walk.
People will walk. So lack of follow-up has brought a lot of...
That is a problem. There's no follow-up.
Nonchalance.
And it's difficult for a thief to follow a thief. It's difficult for a thief to trap a thief. It's a difficult problem. So sometimes people they send, they are also corrupted people. Then when they come, they give money, say, but who am I?
Brown envelope.
I don't have my own to eat. They go back.
Yeah,
so that is where you see. You cannot send a thief to go and trap a thief.
Cameroon is indeed a continent on its own.
We need God interference.
Okay, Dr. Ahmed. We are signaling that we have consumed our time.
Okay.
Please look into your camera and
Okay.
give the public your final word as we bow out of this program.
Okay, I want to just, my last advice to Cameroonians watching us at this point in time is that at this time of the elections period, we have to be very careful. Our movements should be well controlled. We know there are a lot of enmities outside. Very soon they will say no gathering and things like that. It will not be sound so simple. Stop keeping late nights. Make sure you go home earlier, especially people in cosmopolitan towns. Any instruction you receive, you have to respect it because you don't know the outcome. And then secondly, we're saying that those who have sent their children to schools, my advice is that parents should stop choosing very extravagant schools with very expensive school fees. Anytime you are investing in education, this time invest with caution. Because there are people who have invested on their children, spend millions, and when they become old, the child comes and joins you back in the house. You rent a house, get married for the child, get a wife for the child, and start sponsoring. So spend with caution. If they are writing GC in a school and they are paying 500,000, another school they are paying 100,000, take the child to the school of 100,000. So you are quote according to your size.
So you are quote according to your size. Dr. Ahmed, I want to say thank you very much for being asked.
The pleasure is mine, Madam FRIDA.
It has been so wonderful.
Pleasure is mine.
You know, time has flied so fast.
Yeah.
I wish we could continue.
Pleasure is mine. One day, by God's grace, will be there.
Yes.
Inshallah.
I pray that next time when we come calling, you still create time for us.
By God's
because I want to say that we still have a lot to talk about, especially with your health talks. It's going to be very important. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from our guest of today. This is how we saw it on today's edition of the program. Dear Cameroonian brothers and sisters, you heard it. We are living crucial times. The elections are in. We have about 3 weeks or so to October 12th, where we shall be going to the polls to decide the fate of our country for the next 7 years. So stay safe, respect all rules, all laws, all decisions taken at this point in time. Like the doctor said, you don't know who is doing what, who may have your macabo, like we say. So just stay safe. Avoid late night. Whatever place you go, please do not forget your national identification card. It's utmost important. I want to say thank you to Adrian, who has been behind the machine this afternoon, giving us these beautiful images and the sun you have. And thank you to you, our viewers, for your faithfulness to Well in Print. It's an honor to know that we have a fan base keeping us company from start to end and eradicating each time we delay to come and set. It is on this note that we call it quit on the program, but stay tuned to programs on Pan African Media TV, because today at 4 p.m. we shall be having a global insight. Before we leave the set, we want to say that it's weekend, is the start of a weekend, it's a Friday. Do not hesitate to take out time to, shake off some stress, because the weeks are usually stressful, but weekend you can shake off some stress, and on Sunday go to church and pray to God to bless your coming week.